KBIA.org. In this week's commentary, Jason Rosenbaum looks at Medicaid in Missouri and explains why it may not matter if Governor Nixon decides not to expand coverage, as he promised during his campaign for election.
There are plenty of moments in life where a build-up is more enjoyable than an actual event. Mizzou's homecoming celebration may just fall into that category. For Governor Jay Nixon, the issue of expanding Medicaid coverage for the state's poor, disabled, and elderly could be a comparable moment. After all, the Democratic governor spent much of his campaign blasting Republicans for cutting eligibility for the program in 2005. The pitch probably played a part in getting the longtime Attorney General into the governor's mansion. Nixon had an enormous political challenge from the moment he made the pledge to begin the process of undoing the 2005 cuts. Republicans in the legislature who spearheaded the move weren't exactly going to reverse course, especially when they remained in control of the General Assembly when Nixon took office. But the federal government may remove Nixon's political obstacle. Congress is considering forcing states to expand Medicaid to 133% of the federal poverty level, far more than the current point in Missouri. Instead of embracing an opportunity to fulfill his primary campaign pledge, Nixon is cautiously monitoring the situation in Washington. In fact, the Medicaid provision was seen as one of the reasons that the governor didn't sign on to a letter calling for Congress to pass major health care legislation this year. The move left a somewhat bitter taste in the mouths of many of Nixon's supporters. The expansion will almost certainly prompt Missouri to expend more funds for the Medicaid program. And even if the expansion begins well into the future, it's not easy to invest money when the state's current budget is in a bit of turmoil. Certainly the potential federal change puts Republicans on the spot as much as Nixon. If they still control the legislature when the expansion goes into effect, the GOP will have to shift from simply opposing a boost in eligibility to properly preparing for the inevitable expansion. But if the expansion doesn't provide states with enough funds to avoid a budgetary apocalypse, Nixon's campaign pledge is going to quickly transform from a politically potent argument to a burden that could bedevil his governorship and the state for years to come. I'm Jason Rosenbaum.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's Talking Politics. You can get more political coverage and the podcasts of this show on our website at KBIA.org.